Hey, welcome to the Tub Thumping video and podcast. Today, we are here with Josh Sirlin. Josh and I have known each other for about 20 years, and we're super excited to be chatting with everybody. Josh is the principal and creative director at Black Bear Brand, which is a way of life company and men's fashion line. Josh is an amazing individual. Here at Tub Thumping, our goal is always to bring the elements that we thought were the worst things in our life to light and show them how they became the best things in our life. They are inspirational and motivational stories of the everyday people in our lives, men, women, even young adults, and sharing their stories about how they came back from very, very difficult situations, because we all do it, and we all need to realize that this is what we're possible every single day. So Josh, we're going to jump right into this today, and I'm going to ask you, what was the shittiest moment in your life, and how did that become one of the best moments in your life? And just feel free to just start talking, and we'll go from there.
Shitty moments. I mean, probably like everybody, I've had a shit ton of them, but that be the case probably now looking back. The one that is closest, that was most memorable, that was what I valued looking back, was living in Whistler after starting my first business with very little knowledge and a whole lot of trust in everything and everybody. And making every goddamn mistake one could make, and lost everything. And within that, and fuck, I was partying, and I was doing everything that one would be doing at the age of 28, on top of trying to start a business in a field and in the creative world with very little, I guess, training or knowledge or actual experience, but a whole lot of a whole lot of fucking determination, and the fact that I wanted to fucking do it. I mean, it was as simple as that. It's just what I wanted to do. So that desire and determination was basically the only fuel that I had, and I had a little bit of talent. But with that trust and no knowledge in contracts or agreements, and doing all the different working parts of a small business, that trust got me into trouble. That trust also put me in a position where, without contracts and that, I guess youthful or ignorant trust, led to the folding of what I was creating. And actually had to kind of put my tail between my legs, roll home, sell my whatever SUV, trade it in for a Cadillac DeVille that the dealership was willing to hold payment or delay payment for 3 months, 1989 Cadillac DeVille, and parked it in front of my dad's house. Everything I currently owned that I didn't get rid of fit in the trunk. And I said, "Hey, Dad, can I borrow $5,000? I need to get my feet on the ground." And he said, "No." And that's the relationship I have with my father. Not that he was, mean or shit, but it's fucking hard to get fella. So, but you can stay here. You can sleep on the couch, and I won't charge anything. It's like, cool, take it. And then I was on the phone, and that's the one thing that I had never stopped from when I was young and through that first business, is I'm always poking at things I'm interested in, and poking at what I feel is an opportunity. I have big eyes, and I'm always, like, I guess, hunting, but instinctually hunting. And while I'm falling and at that bottom point, I was still talking with numerous opportunities and ideas I had. And one of those, kind of sparked, and they said, "Yeah, come to LA." And I had a couple different companies that were willing to let me try an idea, although they thought it was beyond an idea at that point. And that was doing some things that, again, I'm not skilled to do, I'm not trained to do, but it's product photography and display within the sphere and creative world that I was most attracted to, and that's around action sports. It's around products and things that I genuinely had a personal interest in. But flew down there, found another friend that was actually a photographer, and we started doing some of those ideas for large companies, and they actually fucking worked. But was making very little money or no money, sleeping on couches still, and did a couple of those independent projects, jumped back, and then was sitting there and said, "Oh, I still have no fucking money. I'm sleeping on my dad's couch." I've now, said, okay, these things are opportunities. The voice is still, there's communication between these companies and myself, which is cool. And, but I got to have money. And then I found a company that was complete opposite of what my industry and background was. And that was in the financial world within, fixed income. Fixed income? The fuck? That makes no sense. But the creative, I came in and I guess did what I do fairly well, and that's figure out what they needed and what they didn't do well, and then looked into what I had or experienced or whom I could play chess with that could bring in those elements to satisfy what their needs were. And often there's creative. I mean, it's as much as anything else, it's a creative approach to satisfying and fulfilling what what they fucking needed. So in doing so, within a few months, I was operating a good portion of that financial information business called Bonds Online. And, selling advertising or dealing with, let's say, the back end or structural or flow of a website and the creative elements that go into presentation doesn't really necessarily matter. I don't need to know the nitty gritty and, the specifics behind the data or fixed income as an industry. But inherently I did learn a little bit, but so within that started to be where I was able to make some money. So I was making money working in the financial field and a creative aspect still, and then doing these independent projects. And through that low of, again, no fucking money, sleeping on couches, no one was giving me money, no one would loan me money. I mean, I did only ask one person, and that was the single person I think I've asked, in my younger life, was that moment. And the one consistent thing that happened is like, I still woke up fucking 6 a.m., 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. 6 a.m. is when I sleep in. And no matter what, I was up and I was fucking at my computer or, exploring, what I was going after. And that happened, it never stopped.
Did you ever, when you were going through this, did you ever begin to doubt yourself? What was that, when you go through these, and it's this roller coaster, right? As you're learning and gathering all this information, did you begin to get that negative self-talk in your head, that self-doubt?
Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, I still get that today. That's part of the game. And again, if you don't have self-doubt, I wouldn't know what life existed without it. It's, one analogy of one of my people I look up to as much or more so than anybody. His wife, we're having dinner, and his wife mentioned to me, because I do a handful of things that, from her point of view, look like I'm fearless. And she's like going, your ability is that you're just not scared. And it's like going, that's the fucking catch. It's like going, it may not look like I am. I'm scared all the fucking time. I just don't stop.
So that's interesting.
At a young age, I lean the fuck in.
So what is that? So that's super interesting. And I think you talk about really successful people. And I think that really sums up, right? People think you're fearless, but in essence, you have all this self-doubt, but you lean in. What is the conversation you have yourself, or what is the habit that you create to make sure that you continue to lean into that opportunity so you do take advantage of it and you don't shy away, right? We all know that you have two choices in life. You can either move towards your goals or away from your fears. What helps you move towards your goals even though you're fearful?
Fucking grind. Just fucking grind. It's like going, fucking go. It's like going, but if you sit, it's like going no different if you're riding a motorcycle. And I've found such a wonderful analogy with riding old choppers. It's like going, no, it's like going, if you get a little speed wobble or you fucking the semi truck's next to you and you're on a fucking bike with no front brake, jockey shifter, suicide clutch, you know, it's like going, speed the fuck up, grip down, breathe, you know, take a deep breath and fucking go. And there's that calming sense. It's no different than skydiving. And again, that's one of my favorite things about skydiving was it's like going, no, things slow down. And as soon as you take a breath, it's like going, the world, as fast as you're moving, as fast as things are going around you, you capture this fucking calmness. It's like going, and that only has to do with fucking, it's like going, the more you do anything, the less discomfort, or the more comfortable you get with discomfort, I think is the right way to say it. It's like going, the discomfort doesn't go away. It's just like, you know that it doesn't fucking matter. It's part of the game. It's like going discomfort. It's like going, I've got so many injuries. It's like going, and the only and I've got physical therapists and, you know, chiropractors looking at me, what the fuck? How and why are you doing what you're doing or even able to do it? And it's like going, just don't fucking stop. I go, you stop, you pause, you get lazy, it's like going, it's going under your diet. It's like, yeah. You approach them all with that same, I mean, that's the one, I guess, attribute that I can say that I'm proud of, or that I'm happy that was instilled in me, and partially strongly by my father. It's like going, I'm not a victim. I'm not fucking sorry for anything. I'm not a result. My shortcomings or my inabilities or the hardship that I've encountered isn't caused by, you know, it's not like a fault I can blame on, you know, this group or this person or this situation. It's like when each one of those moments, that being one of them that I mentioned, it's like when, no, I was on the wrong fucking path. I fucking was. I didn't know it. I was determined, and I had that same determination, like, this is fucking it. This is what I'm doing. And it's like going, nah, the world has a fucking magic way of saying, you're fucking going the wrong direction, man. And it's like, and it's painful. It's like going in those situations of redirection, and I've had so many of them now looking back, and they're all fucking pivotal in me becoming more of the person I want to be, and more of the person I'm happy with.
I love that. When you are going knocking on your dad's door, and you've got nothing left but whatever's in your trunk, right? You got a car out front you turned it off, it's still rattling, hasn't completely turned off. All your stuff's in the trunk. What's the one thing that's popping in your mind? Like, what are you thinking about yourself? Tail between your legs, knocking on your dad's door. Is your thought like, are you going to yourself, I gotta get back on track, or are you just, how did this happen? Why does this always happen to me? Or is it, what was your mindset at that point?
Fuck it. This is what I got to do. It's like going, fuck it. It's like going, I'm a busy brain. And I think a lot of people use that kind of analogy on themselves, that their brain's spinning in 1,000 directions. It's like going, yeah, people have described the way I think is like, I'm a plate spinner, just spinning fucking plates, spinning a shit ton of plates. And it's like going, sometimes that is fucking beneficial. It's like going, no, it's like going, I'm concentrating on a lot of things, and I'm obsessed about a number of things at once. But at the same time, it's like going, I still can say fuck it fairly easy.
Yeah. Well, I love this concept. It seems like in your entire, obviously I've known you for a long time, but it's this, that you don't stop and dwell on the negative or the scraped knee after you've taken that tumble, right? I think a lot of us out there do. We tend to overanalyze the mistake or the failure and we dwell on that versus refocus on the potential. And it sounds like for you just kept refocusing on the potential. How do I get back on? How do I get back on the bike? How do I get back on the airplane? How do I get back up there? Versus what happened. You took the learnings, of course, right? You put them in your back pocket, said, thank you very much. but didn't dwell on it. And that seems to me like, out of everything we've talked about, is, you know, you slowed down, took a deep breath, you made sure you weren't a victim, and you said, I'm not going to dwell on this. Like, where is my potential? Where do I have to go? Right? Was that sort of that? Was there another habit or something, even though getting up early is something that's super important for certain people, right? Making sure you were doing stuff, you were active. Was there a habit that you think overall was the number one driver in making sure you got to this next point in your life?
No, I mean, I think I analyze everything. It's a fucking habit, and it's something that I don't. It's and I do it naturally. It's like when no matter what, I'm looking at something from generally where I can understand it or where I don't understand it and through the entire, like, let's say the life cycle. When I look at a product or when I look at a business or when I look at like a situation, it's like when I'm looking through, I'm not looking at it in its forward facing sphere. That's just not where my brain goes. My brain starts to look at all the fucking different things. That, where did that start? And then where is it right now? And all these different things. And it's my attempt or interest of figuring it out for me. I'm a hardcore dyslexic. I've never read a full book from cover to cover in my life until I was graduated college with 2 degrees. It's like when a tremendous amount of people that are, I'm not that smart, that are very intelligent have dyslexia. And I didn't know that. I didn't think about it. I didn't dwell on it. But it's like when from a young age, it's like, well, no, I had to figure out my way on how I could do it. I don't read directions. It's a terrible flaw. I don't fucking look at diagrams. They fucking confuse me. They mess with my head. There's certain things that are, forever going to be big obstacles. Put me in a room with an IKEA cabinet. You're going to see me flustered and fucking have anxiety. You will. I mean, it's like when it fucking messes with me. Having put together a fucking Weber grill, it's probably a very simple thing. It will fuck me up. But throw me on a death trap chopper crossing the fucking winter pass, with it raining, surrounded by semi-trucks, I'll be calm. Throw me on a plane saying, you're on your way to Paris, you have $10 fucking. Figured out. I'll be calm. I would have more anxiety fucking putting together a Weber grill. But that part of it's like going, okay, I can start. I'm happier. I'm in a better headspace, and I lean towards what in life will give me that. It's like a fucking kid with a blanket. It's like going, no, I don't. I'm not good. A lot of people aren't. It's like, I'm not good when I'm negative. I'm not good when I watch the fucking dipshits on the news. I'm not. It's no different than if I'm eating unhealthy. It's like when I've gone through, wild gamut of similar, life experiences like so many other people. It's like, well, fucking drank and partied like a motherfucker. Was it hardcore, quote unquote, as they say, functional alcoholic? I stopped on fucking Tuesday after 20 years of partying like a member of the Motley Crue. And I just stopped because it was time. There's a bunch of factors that went up to that, but it's like, no, that was it. And that moment and transitioning through that and being able to still be functional and doing very athletic things and even being somewhat successful in business, while doing that, and then while having that be a major part of my life, it's like when you move away from that, that's when I started to understand, although I was extremely healthy in my diet and so many other things, it's like now I fucking could feel how much my diet contributed to my mind space. It's like fuck no. It's like when I don't eat the way that I eat now, of course I like the way food tastes, but it's like, no, I have a functional interest. I have what that food does for me, and I feel it. It's like, no, I feel, how I take care of myself. and I'm sharper. I'm fucking smarter. My digestion, I feel better. It's like when I don't eat like shit because fucking it makes me feel like shit. It's like when a fucking bunch of greasy food actually doesn't make me feel good. I don't care about the lack of, you know, having those junk foods in my life as in regards to like a satisfying pleasure. It's like, no, it's like when they actually just make me feel like shit. So why the fuck am I eating that for that 5 minutes of pleasure? I'm gonna feel like shit. So that's the consumption.
You said something before, I think that is a lot of us don't do, right? And you said you lean towards what life gives you, and that's wildly powerful. We don't. Sometimes we stop and we complain about what's in front of us, and that becomes our life versus just leaning in towards it and accepting it. And I love the analogies you gave about either, you know, being on a chop or you know, winter pass, or being on a plane with, you know, in a foreign country with a foreign language with $10 in your pocket. You know, is there a something that you can share about that you feel helps you lean towards what life is giving you versus complaining? Because it's a huge, as a simple statement as it is, it's probably one of the biggest and most important things that we can learn from you. If life throws the most shittiest situation out towards you, like I'd be crying on a fucking motorcycle in winter pass, going through the, you know, with chopper and trucks on the side of crying, just out crying on a plane with $10 in my pocket, going up, crying like, oh, what am I going to do? What is that motivation or that switch in your head that you tell yourself to say, hey, this is what it is. Let's make the best of it. And it's not an easy question, and I don't mean it.
Well, I mean, but part of it's like when it's I've done it a lot and I've seen what it does. It's like when it's like when, and to look back at the moment of when, you know, I did it for the first time, it's like when some of the times I just didn't have any other options. I mean, the first time I traveled internationally, that situation actually happened. I was flying to the Micronesian Islands, didn't know my head from my ass. No credit cards at that time, and no cell phones at that time. There's no internet. There's nothing. It's like, oh no, I had a job in the Micronesian Islands. I was in college, and they sent me a plane ticket, and they said, come. And I said, fuck yeah. I say yes a lot. And that's the one thing that, as I didn't come from, you know, I have a wonderful family. My parents are fantastic. It's a large family, but we just didn't do a lot of those things that exposed us to. It's like, oh no, if I wanted something at a very young age, it was instilled in me that I can go, if I want it, with being in a large family, if you want, you know, football cleats, you know, that were the fucking cool football cleats, I fucking go mow lawns for it. It's like going, and that was also looking back at like going, no, it just instilled. It's like when I never looked at a situation saying, how can somebody else do this for me? Instead, I'd like going, how can I figure out, how can I do it? If I want it, which no different than any other dickhead, I want a lot of things. I want to do a lot of things. But it's like when I just, as soon as that gets presented, or I find that thing that I'm attracted to or interested in, so my brain goes, how can I do that? And then it starts exploring anything I can think of that's going to allow me to do that. And that's no different than those situations. It's like it's like when dancing in that moment where you're dancing from where you're at and finding some level of appreciation. And I'm trying to improve on my appreciation towards the present. I'm generally, and this was described when I was racing a buggy in the fucking Baja after doing a project for a company there that, as a lack of payment, but in form of an exchange of payment, we were given a buggy to race the Baja. And in that, it's like going, no, it's like going, as we're doing it, and you're racing a Baja, and it's not a track, it's an open road with fucking potholes and trees and fucking cliffs and water features and all this shit. It's like going, your eye, it's the instruction by these old race car drivers. It's like going, no, your eye's always on the horizon. you're thinking and feeling what's present, what you're going over right now, and you're going anywhere from 40 to 100 and some odd miles per hour, and you're going, no, your eyes on the horizon, but you're thinking of what you're going over, and you're watching those simultaneous. You can't just do one or the other, you fucking die. So it's like going no different than anything. It's like going, fuck, my eyes always on the horizon, and I just was able to reflect back and say that makes sense. It's like going, and then you start to say, well, I do that in some cases naturally, but then often you're like going, fuck, okay, and that choosing that way of thinking or reminding yourself to think the opposite of that, because that's how I naturally think. I'm naturally watching the horizon in life while doing and operating instinctually in the present. So that's part of it, I guess, the better way to say it. It's like when most of what I do that I'm standing on while I'm standing on it is instinctual. My mind is often on the horizon. So doing those simultaneous or toggling back and forth is been my lucky charm in some sense. It's like going, no, it's like when, if I'm thinking about where I'm going and how I'm going to get there while operating instinctually in the moment. And then I have to bring my back to that moment, to the moment often. It's what I'm trying to do these days. Saying, fuck, smell the roses. Like going, these are pretty neat things that you're able to do. You're riding, a 1940 knucklehead in Oi to Japan right now around all these amazing people. You need to stop looking at the horizon. So I've actually got to fucking go back. I'm like going, fuck, stop watching the horizon all the time and start to bring yourself back, which is a neat thing to at least acknowledge. I'm happy that I'm acknowledging it. I'm not very good at it, but it's like, well, no. And Japan and some of the really neat things that I've been able to do lately, but I'm only doing that. I credit the fact that I'm doing those things to the thing. It's like, no, I'm playing like 5 chess games at once all the time. And some of those chess games are long games, and some of them are fucking fast. Like they're changing in a fucking day, and they're changing in the moment. And then your horizon is still watching the horizons, because you're playing that game as if you've got to know 5 steps or where these things and what 5 or 10 things may be happening as these moves are happening. Another one's like going, no, it's the long game. But playing all those things simultaneous is fucking fun for starters. Wow. Like your mind never gets fucking bored. When people say they're bored, I was like, that's the fault of you. You're the responsible if you're bored. And if you're doing things that, again, are metastasizing, probably the fucking wrong word, but you're basically, if you're feeding that boredom by doing things that are fucking boring. I mean, you're not going to feed boredom by watching fucking television. You're not going to feed boredom by watching the fucking news, for God's sake.
Yeah.
It's like going, and dreaming has been pissed on too much. It's like, fuck, that's one thing. I'm a fucking dreamer.
I love that. I love that. I mean, this is really gold. I mean, leaning into what life gives you, saying yes a lot, being a dreamer, making sure your eyes are on the horizon. I mean, this is just, it's amazing. And, I know you're super busy. I know you gave us some time today. I'm so grateful. I want to be able to do this again. Josh Sirlin, principal and creative director, Black Bear Brands, amazing company. We'll put his link down below. And Josh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Peace out, my friend.